So, I am very excited. It's the end of the workday. My soda's on the other side of that door. Don't drink soda. Here's my current copter status. And before I talk about what I'm talking about, I would like to make some notes that have been crashing. And my OSD is going goofy, where it stopped showing the horizon lines. And another thing that I've been experiencing is sometimes after a crash, it tries to change angle, like about that much. So I'll be hovering flat or something like that. Sometimes it'll get jerky, and then like sometimes it'll actually go and it'll just stay there instead, and I'll correct it, but then it'll go and I'm not sure if it's the flight controller or the receiver or something like that, but I'm wanting to say that it's the gyro or something to do with reading the gyro, and that's why my horizon line disappeared from my OSD for a period of time to this morning. And then also that's why sometimes getting really jittery or trying to just constantly change angle, fix it, it wants to go back, fix it, it wants to go back. So that's the bummer. Luckily, I do have up in that experiment AR 2.0 frame another SP Racing F3 Acro. I was thinking about getting an SP Racing F3 Deluxe, but they're $20. But then I would have a compass to put on my OSD, and since I'm monkeying with the OSD just to have fun with it. Anyways, this is my first purchase of tri-blade props. Now I have been flying some tri-blade props, and a gentleman who gave me some Ishin Racer 250 parts. His name is Jason Hugentugler in Hawaii. He has a bunch of copters and he flies in Kailua, and I'm thinking he's part of Aloha FPV, but he might be a part of the kind multi-rotor. I'm pretty sure he's in one of those multi-GP chapters, but it might be Aloha FPV. And a lot of people know him because one of his non-piloting skill claim to fame and non-purchasing of many quadcopters claim to fame is that he is always giving away parts to beginners. So I gave him $20, but he offered to give me like a bunch of parts for free, and I got like an extra flight controller and some like 4 or 6 motors or something like that, and a bunch of stuff, and I just didn't have any money at the time, and I probably would have given him some more money or something like that, or tried to buy him a dinner, but but I gave him $20, and he gave me like a bunch of spare stuff. This whole bag of ESCs and arms and stuff. I broke all the arms already. I had to buy more, and some PDBs, and just tons of stuff that I'll use for experiments and stuff like that, and I've been using them. And another thing you can use a huge bag of props, including these, and these props are good. They're remarkably durable. They're very quiet. They are, I don't think they're that fast. I mean, they're fast, but I think that their real benefit is handling and getting up to about your cruising speed, and then you cruise around and you can stop very quickly and turn on a dime. But I want to say that these props probably have about a fixed top speed in a kind of way. I mean, you can get really tilting up there, but sometimes when you're just cruising, you can really pick up a lot of speed. For example, with these green props, which are also Dal prop, and they're not that remarkably different, but I want to say that sometimes the sensation of increasing speed while flat is much more dramatic with this one, where with these props you feel like you have to kind of be running at the same throttle to ever achieve that same speed. So it's more consistent in its performance, regardless of wind and stuff like that. And I think what's going on is they make turbulence, and the turbulence has such a direct correlation to the prop speed. that the turbulence makes like a pillow around the vehicle, which forces the copter to punch through the air in a kind of way that makes it so that it's a little more like it's having to force its way through the medium instead of being able to pick up some momentum, store some kinetic energy, and then just ride on that. These props definitely seem to ride on their kinetic energy a little more, but it serves to say that this is a totally different setup, and this is heavier is one thing. It has more powerful motors, and this has plastic parts all around, which soaks up a lot of energy. So the vibration will soak up into there, which will be a good thing. But then also, you know, if the energy is traveling up and down the arm, and it's a more efficient energy transfer, then the vehicle will store more energy. So when you're picking up speed and sliding along the ground and kind of slicing through the air, the energy that's stored in this craft transfers more readily, more quickly, more efficiently to the points that are breaking the air. So it's a little bit like this hits the air harder. Whereas this one, when the air hits, there's going to be more delay from the different points that are important. This is pushing and this is braking and causing a lot of drag, so then all of these parts, they're going to flex a lot more than these rigid carbon parts, which will result in some of what I'm experiencing, where it seems like it's not sliding around, you know, you have to be pushing constantly to achieve whatever speed. So the thing about it is, though, is that's a real benefit if you want a lot of good, easy control, because the copter only does what you order it to do, and when you want to turn, it turns right away. With this one, I've been experiencing lots of tree crashes because I get a lot of lateral motion when compared. So part of that is the prop surface area. So by putting tri-blades on it, I'm sure that I'll experience a lot more handling, because now there's going to be, you know, a 50% increase in prop surface area on the whole craft. So there's going to be 50% more propeller, which will be very dramatic. So I don't think that these are going to handle the same. I think the prop matters, and I am planning to, I got 30 pairs of these, so I am planning to suit up my other racers, my Racer 250s, with these. But I'm figuring that I will still have the sensation that this one is a little more, it's a little looser. It's a little bit, you know, more likely to get sliding, you know, and coasting. It'll coast better. Whereas this one will still feel like it doesn't coast so much. It doesn't go as fast, but it's much easier to drive. Much, much, much easier to drive. So these are Racer Star 5042s. I don't know if it can get you to make out the decal. Sometimes what people do is they put their hand to force the focus, but I just can't see it on there. And some people say good things about these on the internet for a guy like me, where I just want cheap propellers that are going to be pretty durable, but start giving me some good tri-blade action. So they are different than the Dow Prop 5040s that I've got here. These are 5045s. But actually they look a lot the same on the whole overall. They're way different in the middle. They have this modern swoop. And they're kind of based on some leading propellers that probably when people fly the leading propeller, they'll say, well, you don't really want to fly this propeller, because, I've actually had the experience too, where, if you buy GemFan 5030s, and then you buy a bunch of propellers that are 5030s on the internet that are not GemFan, the GemFan 5030s, although all of them break very easily, are certainly better. Hands down, unquestionably, they feel so much better. You get so much more performance out of the vehicle. And so, without a doubt, there's no question in my mind that these are not going to perform like the leading brands of propellers. And if you really were going to get switching those propellers back and forth, you would say that this plastic is probably unacceptable. But I'm not that person. I am just trying to get any tri-blades at all and see if I get a little more agility here. And I plan on crashing a lot. And I'm so poor. And I think it's going to be a really good thing.